Sayın Başkan,
Mr. President, distinguished heads of state and government, Mr. Secretary General, esteemed delegates, I greet you with my most heartfelt sentiments on behalf of myself and my nation. I wish that the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly will bring goodness to all of humanity. It is a great honor for me to once again address you from this rostrum, which represents the common conscience of humanity. I congratulate Mr. Young for completing his term as President of the General Assembly, and I wish success to Ms. Baerbock as she assumes this duty. At the very outset of my speech, I would like to express my sadness that at a time when the state of Palestine is being recognized by an increasing number of countries, President Mahmoud Abbas is not personally with us today. We are here at this rostrum to be the voice of the people of Palestine, whose voices some wish to silence, along with our own citizens. I thank all the countries that have declared their recognition of the state of Palestine, and I call upon those that have not yet taken this step to act without delay. Mr. President, distinguished members, the Charter of the United Nations was signed in San Francisco 80 years ago and entered into force on October 24, 1945. I would like to recall here once again the very first words of the very first article of the UN Charter. The purpose of the United Nations is to maintain international peace and security. Yes, while we are celebrating the 80th birthday of the United Nations in this hall, grave events that cast a shadow on these first words of the Charter unfolding in many parts of the world. In particular, genocide has been continuing before our eyes in Gaza for more than 700 days. Even as we are meeting here, civilians are being massacred in Gaza. The number of civilians killed in Gaza has exceeded 65,000. It is still unknown how many bodies remain under the rubble. More than 20,000 of the dead are children. For the past 23 months, every single hour, a child has been mercilessly torn away from life in Gaza by Israel. These are not numbers, friends. Each one was a soul, each one an innocent human being. Today, people are being killed not only with weapons but also with hunger. In the 21st century, under the eyes of the so-called civilized world, 428 people, 146 of them children, have died of starvation, and the numbers grow every day. Now I will show you a photo depicting daily life in Gaza. In the first photo, you can see women carrying basins in their hands. Let us all put our hands on our hearts and answer honestly, can there be any justification for such cruelty in 2025? Yet this shameful scene for mankind has been repeated every day in Gaza for the past 23 months. Within only 365 square kilometers, the 2.5 million inhabitants of Gaza are displaced daily. Each day, they are forced to move to another place. Gaza's health infrastructure has totally collapsed. Doctors have been killed or detained. Ambulances have been struck. Hospitals bombed and destroyed. Treatment is impossible. Surgery is impossible. Medicine is impossible to find. Friends, listen to me as Tayyip Erdoğan, my heart burning and bleeding. Children as young as 2 or 3 years old, missing arms, legs, hands, have tragically become the ordinary images of Gaza. What conscience can endure this? What conscience can remain silent? Can there be peace in a world where children die from hunger and lack of medicine? We are all mothers and fathers. We have children and grandchildren whom we cherish. Here in America, in Europe, all over the world, if a child's hand is pricked by a thorn, the parents' hearts ache. But in Gaza, children's arms and legs are being amputated without anesthesia. Forgive me, but this is the lowest point of humanity. History in the last century has never seen such barbarity. Everything is happening before our eyes. The genocide in Gaza is broadcast live by the media and social media every moment. So far, Israel has deliberately killed 250 journalists working for national and international media in Gaza. It has banned all entry into Gaza, but still could not hide the genocide. I fully support Secretary General Guterres, who has consistently drawn attention to this ongoing genocide in Palestine. I once again commend him for his courage. Yet, sadly, the United Nations has been unable even to protect its own staff in Gaza. 500 people who rushed to assist were killed, 326 of them UN personnel. Mr. President, distinguished members, genocide, like the Holocaust, is a shameful, inhuman, barbaric term used for mass extermination of people. But today in Gaza, not only are people being killed, animals are being deliberately destroyed, agricultural land and trees wiped out, olive groves eradicated, water stripped away or poisoned. Gaza's buildings, homes, libraries, hospitals, schools, mosques, churches, and historic sites are deliberately targeted and destroyed. Land made useless for humans, animals, and plants alike. Here I will show you another photo. Tell me, what does this have to do with the pursuit of security? Is this not hostility against life itself? From this rostrum I declare openly, there is no war in Gaza. There are not two sides in Gaza. There is, on one hand, a regular army with the most modern, deadly weapons, and on the other hand, innocent civilians and children. This is not counter-terrorism. This is occupation, deportation, exile, genocide, in truth, a policy of mass extermination waged under the pretext of October 7th. While Gaza is being destroyed under the excuse of Hamas, simultaneously the West Bank, where Hamas is not in governance, is being step by step occupied, with civilians executed. Moreover, Israel does not stop at Gaza and the West Bank. It also attacks Syria, Iran, Yemen, Lebanon, and threatens regional peace. Most recently, Israel attacked a delegation in Qatar engaged in ceasefire negotiations. This attack shows clearly that the Israeli leadership has completely lost control and neither intends to make peace nor to save hostages. Not only neighbors but all countries of the Middle East are subject to Israel's reckless threats. Let us acknowledge this. Israel's growing aggression has inflicted grave damage on Western values that emerged after World War II: basic human rights, freedom of expression, press freedom, the right to protest, women's rights, children's rights, democracy, equality, and justice have all been shelved. Friends, let us see the reality. Obsessed by the notion of promised lands, the Israeli administration is pursuing an expansionist policy that destroys both regional peace and humanity's common achievements. The holy city of Jerusalem, sacred to three great religions, humanity's shared heritage, is a direct target of this radicalism. This madness, which even troubles Jews of conscience and fuels anti-Semitism worldwide, can no longer continue. A ceasefire in Gaza must be reached immediately. Attacks must stop. Humanitarian aid must enter unhindered. Those responsible for genocide must be held accountable before international law. God willing, it will happen. Anyone who remains silent before the ongoing barbarism in Gaza shares responsibility for this cruelty. I make a heartfelt call from here to all heads of state and government. The moment is now. Today is the day to stand tall, for humanity, alongside the oppressed Palestinians. Let us show courage step by step, as our peoples express their outrage at Gaza's barbarism. Fulfill your duty to humanity toward Gaza, where children are raising children. On this occasion, I send my warmest greetings to all defenders of Palestine across the world: academics, artists, politicians, activists, and students who sail across seas, fill the squares, and raise their voices for Gaza's oppressed and innocent. Distinguished delegates, for 13 years I have spoken from this podium of the oppression and conflict in our neighbor Syria. Just as we raise our voice today for the oppressed of Gaza, so too for 13 years we drew attention to Syria's cries. With the December 8th revolution, thank God, this cruelty that claimed 1 million lives and drove millions from their homes has now ended up in history. Syrians have opened a new page, and I believe that the Syrian people, who fought and endured great sacrifices, will bring their hard-won victory to fruition. We will support with all our means the vision of a united and secure Syria, free of all forms of terrorism, including Daesh. As stability takes root in Syria, its benefits will surely extend to Syrians and to all the neighboring countries of our region. I thank our Gulf brothers for their contributions to Syria's recovery, and we will continue our cooperation with all regional and international actors who share our principles. Dear friends, regarding our neighbor Iran's nuclear file, we hope for its resolution swiftly through diplomacy. Our region cannot endure another crisis. The stability, security, and prosperity of our neighbor Iraq are of utmost importance for the welfare of our region. We attach great significance to initiatives promoting collective prosperity, such as the Development Road Project. To our north, between Russia and Ukraine, we hosted the Istanbul process with great determination, mediating prisoner and body exchanges through direct talks. We sought to determine modalities for peace negotiations. We will sustain our efforts for ceasefire with the principle: a war has no winners, a just peace has no losers. Between Azerbaijan and Armenia, we encouraged peace efforts from the beginning. We welcome the steps taken on August 8 toward permanent peace between the two. I congratulate President Aliyev of Azerbaijan, Prime Minister Pashinyan of Armenia, and also US President Trump for their contributions. Also, I highlight Turkey's ongoing normalization with Armenia. In another mediation effort, the Ankara process, we are engaged in resolving the dispute between Somalia and Ethiopia, and I hope this initiative will succeed swiftly. Distinguished delegates, For 89 years we have rigorously implemented the Montreux Convention as the guarantee of security in the Black Sea. We want the Aegean and Eastern Mediterranean to be zones of stability and prosperity, respecting all parties' legitimate interests. We are ready for constructive cooperation, particularly in energy and environment. Let me stress, projects in the Eastern Mediterranean that exclude Turkey and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus cannot succeed. The Cyprus issue cannot be built upon the exhausted federation model that failed due to the intransigence of the Greek side. On the island there are two states, two peoples. Turkish Cypriots are equal partners and will not accept minority status. The international community must end the unjust isolation imposed on Turkish Cypriots. I repeat my call for international recognition of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus and for the establishment of diplomatic, political, and economic relations. Mr. President, members, in the period ahead we desire a new vision and a new beginning in Turkey-EU relations. This vision must not be short-term but one that sets horizons and shapes our common future. We continue our contributions to the missions of the UN, NATO, OSCE, and the EU. In 2026 we will host the NATO summit in Ankara. Together with our NATO ally, the United States, we are strengthening relations in trade, investment, energy, defense industry, and more. In Central Asia, the peace, stability, and prosperity of our brotherly nations remain indispensable to us. The Organization of Turkic States is moving beyond a regional umbrella toward becoming a global actor. In the Balkans, with which we share deep historic ties, we are striving to maintain stability, most recently through the Balkan Peace Platform launched in July. We will again assume KFOR command in October this year. In Afghanistan, we want the administration to pursue an inclusive approach, and the international community must not abandon the Afghan people. As Turkey and the Turkish nation, we will always stand with our Afghan brothers. Dear friends, in South Asia, peace and stability are vital. We welcomed the ceasefire between Pakistan and India after the latest clashes, and we value their cooperation in counter-terrorism. We support resolving the Kashmir issue based on UNSC resolutions and in line with the expectations of our Kashmiri brothers. With Africa, we are strengthening ties year by year in education, health, infrastructure, trade. In Somalia we provide every support for the fight against terrorism while maintaining humanitarian aid. In Sudan, the ongoing bloodshed must end, and sustainable peace must be established. In the Great Lakes region, the Democratic Republic of Congo's eastern conflicts must be resolved at once. We support sincerely the mediation efforts of the United States and Qatar. Friends, our Asia Again initiative deepens our engagement with Asian organizations. We also attach importance to developing relations with Latin America and the Caribbean on the basis of partnership and win-win. In global trade, rising protectionism and supply chain disruptions are reshaping economies. We support reform of WTO and rules-based commerce. Access to cheap, safe, and sustainable energy is essential for developing nations' goals. We are advancing the Middle Corridor project from China through the Caspian to Europe. On climate, we are proceeding firmly toward our 2053 net zero target. The Zero Waste Initiative, spearheaded by my wife Erdoğan, has become a wave of awareness across the world. Developed countries must fulfill their climate responsibilities. It is no longer optional. As one of the leading contributors of development aid in the world, Turkey strives to achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Achieving the 2030 agenda requires aligning global finance with inclusiveness and the principle of leaving no one behind. Meanwhile, humanity is witnessing extraordinary leaps in artificial intelligence. We must ensure no society is deprived of the transformative benefits of these technologies. AI must be used for the benefit of humanity, not as a tool of domination. The UN Technology Bank hosted in our country plays a key role in bridging digital and tech gaps. With the Global Convention on Child Rights in the Digital World, soon to be open for signature, we aim to build awareness worldwide. At the same time, racism, xenophobia, and especially Islamophobia have reached alarming levels threatening coexistence. The appointment of Alliance of Civilizations High Representative Mr. Moratinos as Special Envoy for combating Islamophobia is significant. As I expressed last year, the institution of family is under threat today as never before. To defend the family composed of man and woman is to defend humanity, human nature, life, and our children's future. Turkey will continue defending the family against increasing assaults. Distinguished delegates, the UN was born to prevent another world war. Its roots are filled with values that can guide us in today's dark era. We fully support Secretary-General Guterres' UN80 initiative for more effective and efficient organization. We are ready to strongly support this initiative, also with our vision of Istanbul as a UN hub. On its 80th anniversary, it is our collective duty to bring the UN back to its founding spirit. We shall continue to say, the world is bigger than five, until a system is built where the rights of the just prevail over the might of the strong. Our mission is not to abandon the system but to repair and revitalize it. Without a doubt, a fairer world is possible. Turkey will continue its struggle for a fairer world with patience. May God be our helper. I greet you all once again with love and respect. Stay in peace.